Hello friends, you are watching the Central Asian Roads channel. Today we will show you an ordinary village in central Russia and its immediate surroundings. We will drive through several streets of one village at low speed so that we can examine these streets in sufficient detail. It's late autumn, early November now. It snowed a few days ago. The snow stayed on the ground for a couple of days, but yesterday it got a little warmer and the snow melted. We drive through the village on a normal working day at about 11 o'clock in the morning. This is an urban-type settlement. In terms of population, an urban-type settlement occupies an intermediate position between a city and a village. Officially, in Russia, a city is a populated area where at least 12,000 people live. A village is a rural small settlement with no more than 5,000 inhabitants. Most Russian rural residents are involved in agricultural work, and it is very common for villagers to produce their own food. In fact, the status of a city, town, village, or hamlet may be assigned to a settlement with a number of inhabitants that does not correspond to the official classification. An urban settlement usually has an industrial enterprise. Most of the residents of such a settlement work outside of agriculture. Essentially, it's a small town or big village, and in common people say simply village. Where we go today, according to various sources, from 4,000 to 5,000 people live. The village was formed around a glass factory at the end of the 19th century. The plant was founded by the famous industrialist Ivan Maltsov. During World War II, the plant was destroyed, like most of the Bryansk region. The village was also completely destroyed. After 1950, the enterprise was restored, and the residential part of the village was rebuilt at an accelerated pace. In the second half of the 20th century, the plant mastered the production of new types of products, including its own unique developments. From 1969 to 1985, the glass factory was the main large supplier of lighting glass and glass for signaling purposes to the aviation, shipbuilding, automotive, electrical industries, and railway transport. At the end of the 20th century, the plant gradually fell into disrepair and did not work for more than 15 years. Several years ago, production was partially restored. Now the main product of the plant is colored building glass. The population of the village has been decreasing in recent years. In the video, you can see that on almost every street, next to freshly finished houses, there are abandoned and destroyed ones. This is not a feature of this particular village. This picture is quite typical for large villages and small towns in the so-called Russian outback. These are not those half-empty hamlets and villages where residents are forced to constantly struggle with everyday problems. Lack of central heating, hot water, food in stores, medical care. Large villages have all this. The choice of food products and everyday goods is wide. Prices do not differ from city ones, as in small villages. In case of interruptions in electricity and other communications, their work is restored quite quickly. It is possible to call a utility worker to your home, even if you need help in a non-emergency situation. There is fast and stable internet. There is a clinic. Residents have access to outpatient care from doctors in most popular specialties. Child care facilities work no worse than in larger cities. That is, life here is quite possible for those who have a source of income. But with this, the situation is much worse. Since the enterprises around which settlements once arose are now not thriving or even standing still, there are no jobs for residents. Former workers of these plants and factories, narrow specialists in their industries, will not find work with the same qualifications either nearby or in other regions. Those who were born and grew up in such villages after the closure of production are looking for work in larger cities, and as a rule, moving there for permanent residence. Their parents' houses are gradually being destroyed, and households are falling into disrepair. Apartment buildings, in which at least half the population lives, were built in the post-war 50s. Since then, no new apartments have been built. Many private houses have also been preserved since then. The decline of housing is also facilitated by the fact that the construction and repair of houses is most often done by the owners themselves. It is not easy to find specialists for such work here. They are located in larger cities, and information about them does not reach residents of villages. The cost of professional repair services is higher. It turns out to be a vicious circle. There is no one to repair housing because there are few repairmen, and repairmen do not stay in the villages because there is no one to repair housing. Even updating housing on their own is a problem for residents of such places. Most able-bodied men find work only away from home on a rotational basis. These problems are quite natural, regional, and, to one degree or another, familiar to people in different countries of the world. But the most unpleasant thing is that Russian towns and villages are losing their attractiveness, even as temporary summer housing. Lately, few people associate the notorious village house with fresh air, clean rivers, water meadows, and sun-drenched forest glades. Rivers and forests have not gone away, but they require attention and care. However, in recent decades, they have not received it. Swamps are not drained, forests and reservoirs are not cleaned, and riverbanks are not strengthened. As a result, the swamps take away territory from the forest, and the forest gradually encroaches on the village. The work of forestry comes down mainly to control over logging. It turns out that a city dweller who wants to have a country house will prefer a plot in a well-organized community garden or a house within a large city. A village where there is nowhere to swim or take a walk will not evoke any positive emotions. Ecologically friendly farm products have also long been inaccessible to ordinary residents of large villages. Few people keep livestock or poultry here. This is more typical for so-called downshifters who have stable passive income, for example, from renting real estate in cities. Vegetables and fruits are not grown here for sale either, only for personal consumption. In general, we can say that an ordinary large settlement in central Russia is not a developing, but not a dying settlement. Those who settled here during the prosperity of the plant established an economy and strive to maintain it and pass it on by inheritance. Despite the lack of funding, the necessary repairs are still being carried out here, and utility problems are being solved. It happens that among the residents of the village, there are individual enthusiasts who organize the restoration of some important objects for the village. Sometimes social or environmental problems are solved through media coverage. One way or another, the majority of residents do not leave such villages. They continue to live here, even if someone from the family works in another region. Many people love their native places and show active participation in solving emerging difficulties. Traveling through different regions of Russia, we would like to make videos of ordinary streets of many cities, towns, and villages, large and small. We watch with interest such videos from countries where we have not been. As tourists, we would like to see not only the sights, but also real life of real people. If you're also interested in such trips, write about it in the comments. Stay tuned. We wish you a pleasant viewing.
We hope you enjoyed this video. You can express your opinion and ask us questions in the comments. We recommend watching other videos from this playlist. This is easy to do using the link in the description. If you like videos of road trips and interested in new routes, subscribe to our channel. We remind you that subscribing to a channel does not automatically turn on notifications about the release of new videos. Therefore, after you click the subscribe button, do not forget to turn on notifications. To do this, you just need to click the bell icon. Stay with us and be the first to watch new videos.